Hi guys, my name is Bethany Atazadeh, and today we're talking about the cover art for your children's book. If you've been with me for a while, then you know this is the fourth video in my series on how to write and create and publish a children's book. So I'm covering everything. Today we're zooming in on the cover art, and I'm excited about this topic because I made the cover for the Confident Corgi, and I think Penny turned out really cute. Like, she's very fuzzy. We're gonna talk about the front cover, the back cover, what goes on them, what's standard in the industry, and what's maybe not so standard, especially for the back, but like things you can consider. These are things that you can tell your cover designer that you want, or if you're doing it yourself, you can know you want to include these things. I'm gonna go through this stack of books and actually show you different back cover things that I've noticed. Whether you decide to hire somebody or not, this video will still apply to you. Just like with my video on how to illustrate the interior, I just need to preface this with a brief little, difficult chat. What are your goals for publishing this book? Like, do you want to be the next big children's author? Do you want to be like, Dr. Seuss in the children's book world? Or are you writing this book for family and friends and it would be fun to sell it and you know that you're doing it more for the enjoyment of things? Or do you land somewhere in the middle? The reason that I ask is because just like with the interior illustrations, the cover matters. In fact, the cover matters more. You know that saying that people, don't judge the book by its cover? I hate to break it to you. People definitely judge a book by its cover, like to the extreme. It's a real thing. So if you're looking to sell and your ultimate goal is to get the book into as many people's hands as possible, then I have to be really, really honest with you here. You should probably hire a cover designer. The number one thing that sells your book is your cover. If you don't have a good cover, people won't even look at what it's about. They won't even look at the inside. They won't even care at all about anything else if your cover isn't good. But on the other hand, if you're writing for family and friends, do what you want to do, because this is your pet project. This is your baby. Have fun with it. Like, if you don't care what people think, then don't care what people think. You know what I mean? So take a really serious look at your ultimate goals for this. Like, what do you really want to get out of publishing your children's book? And then if you need to make room in your budget to hire somebody to do your cover art, do it. You won't regret it. Like, invest in yourself, invest in your dream. Be careful how much you invest. Do your research. You don't need to pay buckets of money. If you are going to hire somebody to do your cover art and your interior artwork, that is, it's a whole other video topic that I can definitely go into detail more on. If you want, leave a comment below. But the summary of it is, do your research. Don't hire the most expensive person and don't hire the cheapest person. Like, actually do your research and hire somebody who's going to give you the kind of artwork that you're looking for the best possible deal that you can find. So yesterday I talked a lot about all the different ways that you could illustrate your book, so I don't want to go super in depth on that again, but I'll just mention that just like the interior artwork, you can do the cover artwork with so many different mediums. You can use paint like acrylic, watercolor, oil. You could draw it with pencil or crayon or charcoal or something else, or you can look into all the different ways that you can digitally create artwork these days, all the different websites, Photoshop, and different software and programs, you name it. There's so many ways that you can do artwork. Now, obviously, your cover artwork should match the interior artwork in your book, right? So there's a lot of different ways that you could go with this, and you should do what works best for your budget. You should be smart about that, but you could have your illustrator do the cover completely, or you could have an illustrator give you artwork and then give it to a cover designer if you've got a really big budget for that. Or if you're doing this yourself, you will obviously create the artwork for the whole book, and then you will spend extra time on your cover, like a lot of extra time. So for the Corgi book, I actually had Penny sit in front of a white foam board, like the kind you can get at Walmart for $1, and I kind of had her sit there and had some treats, and I took a billion pictures with a high definition camera until I got the confident little look here, and actually it didn't take that long. She's a pretty bold little dog. Then I spent quite a bit of time actually creating this in Canva, putting some filters on it to make it brighter and to make it pop in more color. I chose a font that I felt was really suitable for a children's book, and then on top of that I ran it through a filter on a website called Be Funky that I talked about in my last video on the interior artwork. and this made it more cartoon-like, which is what I was going for. Okay, so let's talk front cover first. So you're always going to have artwork on the front cover, and it's always going to match the interior artwork in your book. Pretty simple. Then you're always going to have the title, obviously, and I've noticed that it's very common in children's books to have it be a very fun, unique font, still readable, and also bigger, bolder, more just in your face than you might see in other genres. And I also noticed that oftentimes you will have very colorful fonts. Another weird thing in the industry that I notice is that the author name actually tends to be smaller. And last but not least, there's always some version of written by and illustrated by, because you want to mention both the writer and the illustrator. I'll show you a couple different examples of these. Dr. Seuss, you notice they have a fun font and they have mostly artwork. Curious George is another really popular one, and you'll notice again, see the author's name is pretty small, but it's still bright, and you have two bright, fun colors with a more unique font. The Berenstain Bears, another super popular series, and there's the author's name and it's really small, like I mentioned. And the cover is literally almost all artwork. This is one I'd never heard of, The Pig and the Pug. I like how they say words by in the author and then pictures by. That's kind of a fun, different way to do it. Little Blue Truck is one that multiple moms told me that I had to check out, so this is a good book to look at. The author's names and the illustrator's names, written by, illustrated by, very tiny. Just something, again, that I noticed. This book is adorable. I really liked how open and clean it was, but how eye-catching it was. I modeled my cover after this one a little bit, and again, there's the author's name really tiny. Okay, this book is probably one of my favorites. Artwork front and center, almost the whole page, big and bright title, and the author and illustrator's name's pretty small. I'd never heard of this one before, but it caught my eye because it was black, and you don't see a lot of dark children's books. There's less artwork on this one, but that title just catches your attention. And again, author and illustrator pretty small at the bottom. This might be my personal style and what I gravitate towards, but you should definitely take a look at what books kids gravitate towards. Again, like 80% artwork, massive bright title and a fun font, tiny author's name. I think you guys get the gist of it. So now let's talk back covers, because back covers are a lot less standardized and I found a ton of different things. So I just kind of want to show you guys everything that I noticed, and you can kind of pick and choose. Some things are definitely more standard, and I'll talk about that too. Let's start with the back cover that has the least on it. So the Llama Llama back cover has literally just the artwork. We're going to ignore the library thing here, and the ISBN. That's it. First thing I noticed about back covers in all the children's books that I looked at is they all have artwork on the back, and it is always different from what's on the front and the inside of the book. So it's its own artwork for the back. This one is also really simple. This is your book blurb, you guys. It's not like a young adult series where you have 4 paragraphs about the whole storyline and the intrigue and introducing the characters and the plot and blah, blah, blah. It's just sometimes hugs say more than words. Simple. Your ISBN, which you have to have, and you'll notice they have the little publisher logo as well. So what do we have? We've got artwork, the ISBN, the blurb, and they actually do list the price. Now I'm gonna say don't list the price. That's one thing I would put in the don'ts category, because as a self-published author, you may want to change your price. You may want to use discounts. You may want to actually raise your price if you find that it's selling well. I would recommend not putting a price on it because you'd get kind of stuck. Okay, now the Gruffalo. I'm not going to read this whole back page to you because this video will get really long, but they have the artwork, they have the blurb, which you can pause the video and read if you want to. They have the ISBN, they have the publisher logo right there, the little penguin. And then the new thing that none of the other books yet have had is they have reviews. So they list 4 different reviews from credible sources. This isn't something you want to do if your review is like, my mom likes it, my neighbor likes it, you know, it needs to be a credible source. But if you actually have a review from like a newspaper or some online place that has a lot of credibility, put it on the back. You're probably starting to see what I mean. This is Ellie. Yeah, Ellie. All it is its own unique artwork that doesn't appear anywhere else in the story or the front, and the ISBN number. That's it. Again, they're keeping it really simple. Artwork is almost all of it, and the tiny little blurb about what it's about. That's it. And of course, ISBN number. Have to have that. I'm starting to feel repetitive, but it's good for you guys to see this. Artwork, ISBN, nothing else. They do have the publisher on here if you look closely, And they also do have the price on there, but again, I wouldn't recommend that. Okay, now here's one with a little more on it. The Berenstain Bears, they actually include their blurb about the story, what it's about, and of course the ISBN. They also have their price on there. They have their publisher. Another thing that's really cool that they did is they included a bunch of the other books in the series, because the more people know, the more they're likely to buy, right? I really like this book because it's like my book. It's the more bendy cover. Another thing I want to point out is they put the ages on here, and I did this on my book because I just thought it was really cool. A couple other books have that on their inside flap. This book had it on the back, and I like that. And then they also have who the cover art's by, the copyright, and a website. Some things you can consider if you like. Curious George is probably the most unique back that I've found. They have a maze on the back, so it's technically cover art, but kids can have a lot of fun with this. And instead of a blurb about the story, it says, "Can you help George find his friend, the baby penguin?" So it's not actually about the story at all. And you will see the publisher on here. You'll see, of course, the ISBN, and then I believe this is like a trademark or something. If you actually did trademark, you could definitely include that. Last but not least is Dr. Seuss. Just like the Berenstain Bears, they included other books in the series because the more people know, the better. Like, if you have other books out there, promote them. If people don't know, they won't buy. They've got their ISBN, they do have the price on there, and the publisher, Random House. Okay, so knowing all that, what did I include on the cover of my book? Here's the back. Like any young pup, Penny is bold, confident, feisty. But what will happen when she meets a new friend? So I have the ISBN, obviously. The artwork is a majority of the back cover. The blurb, and then I also included my publisher logo right here. I have ages 2 and up because dogs are for everybody. I have the copyright on here, and then I have my publisher. And after looking at this stack and more, I realized that less is more on the back cover, so I didn't want to crowd it with too much. I would definitely recommend, if you haven't already figured this out, to go out, do your own research, get some books from the library, check out what's kind of common, and maybe gather some ideas that are more unique that you could consider including. If there are other things that you think should go on a back cover, put them in the comments below because I'd love to know. Okay, and don't forget, the giveaway is still going on for the grand prize of this book, plus a lot more. The giveaway is really easy to enter. All you have to do is share a picture of the Corgi book on your social media. Step 2, tell your friends in the post how awesome it is, how excited you are for it, whatever. Tell them how you feel. Step 3, send me a photo of your post in the link below so that I know to enter you in the giveaway. By the way, I don't think I've said this before, every post is an entry, so if you put it on your Instagram but also on your Facebook and also on your Twitter, send me a picture of all 3 of those things and each one will be an entry in the giveaway. Okay, that's everything, you guys. I hope you have an awesome day and I'll see you again tomorrow. Bye!